are live. Happy Thursday. Thanks for spending your happy hour with me and Vanessa of Dental Warranty. Guys, Vanessa and I go way back. Like how far back? Like 5 years.
I think it's been about 5 years now, which is crazy where time's gone, but still so much fun whenever we get together.
Always. Every time we're together, it's like no time has passed since. And I'm really excited to introduce Vanessa to the group. She's been a very valuable member of this community for a long time. And she's going to talk to us about increasing your patient value, lowering your liabilities. And that means not just giving away free redos, right, Vanessa? Like it's crazy.
Yep. Yep. And how to, make sure you're having that healthy revenue in your practice by
Absolutely.
doing so. And, with start practices, that is key. You'll need all the money you can get at the beginning stages to make sure that those doors stay open for many years to come.
Yes, no, absolutely. So if you are joining us live, hop on, say hi. Make sure to ask Vanessa all the questions. And but before we get into that, we were just talking behind the scenes about Napa. Vanessa and Brad were a part of our Napa retreat. Vanessa, did you have fun in Napa?
Oh, I had a blast. I had a blast that I had to leave from there to go to Los Angeles for a little girls' weekend. I went to see Elton John at Dodger Stadium, which I was stoked about, but I had contemplated, can I stay in Napa another night and still make it to LA in time? Because I was having so much fun. I know Brad actually
Um,
changed his flight and stayed an extra night. Yeah, I mean, that's how much fun we had that we were all like, we all need to stay in town and still hang out with everyone. It was great. It was fantastic.
it was so much fun seeing you guys. And Vanessa, you have dance moves like I mean, you're so good. And Brad,
Brad was trying to show
what?
me up. Brad was trying to show me up.
If you were in Napa, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Brad has definitely got some moves that
He's got some good moves.
yeah, I'm gonna tag him on this live. I'm pretty.
You
I mean,
should. You should.
we have video, but don't worry, Brad. Your secret is safe with us. So if you want to know what goes on at a retreat, the making of retreat, you'll definitely have to join us wherever that location is
Yeah.
next year. So yeah, no, I'm super excited to talk to you guys about dental warranty because something that we have incorporated in my practice at Smile and Co is a great warranty program. And we're 5 years in, and in the past, shit happens. I'm sorry, like it. I don't care how good of a dentist you are, and especially if you have a big practice, if you have multiple doctors. I mean, there's so many things that you just can't always control for, and that is life. And typically I just eat that cost and I will do the redo and not charge the patient because obviously we want to stand by our work. And what happens is we are losing revenue up the wazoo, and there is a better way. And I was first introduced to dental warranty through Dr. Scott Luna at one of his breakaway practices. Also, side note, if you have ever seen Scott like let his hair down, so to speak, I mean, never have I ever learned so much about our colleagues. So you guys come and have fun with us at the next retreat. Okay, I digress. But Scott talked about this company a few years back that was giving warranties, and I didn't really look into it because we're trying to do all the things ourselves because we want to save money. But I mean, there is nothing that is going to save you more money than doing it this way. There's always a smarter way, and that is why I asked Dental Warranty to be a proud sponsor of the group. I handpicked all of these companies, people who I love to work with, and people who I can vouch for that I use in my own practice and soon to be practices. So, Vanessa, will you give us like, talk to us about who you are, how long you've been with the company, and exactly how it works?
Yeah. So I have been in the world of dentistry for, I think, a little over 12 years now. So for a long time and multiple different companies, but I have loved being a part of this community that it's one of those things that once you're in, you don't want to leave. Well, some people want to leave the chair side, but they still
Yeah,
are involved with dentistry.
right. No,
You
so
don't
true.
leave dentistry itself. It sucks you
Yeah.
in. And I love it. I love it, everyone I've met over the years and everything. And so I always very much appreciate friendships like I have with you, Ashley. It's just like, there's just something so amazing about that. So yeah, I've been now with Dental Warranty for over a year and a half. And Dental Warranty's been around for about 12 years as well, about that same time frame that I've been in dentistry. So we've been around for quite some time. And really what it is, simply put, is think how you might have Apple Care or some type of protection plan on your phone. That is what we do for dental treatment. So
Mm-hmm.
when you get a new phone, maybe it's like $1,200, and you might opt in for the protection plan because you're like, I use my phone every day. Sometimes I'm clumsy. Sometimes I carry too many things. Sometimes I drop my phone. Sometimes my kid will drop it in the toilet. Whatever the situation may be, for those who are looking for that peace of mind, like, I'm going to get the protection plan because God forbid something happens to my phone because I carry with me everywhere I go. And a
Mm-hmm.
random Tuesday, something happens to it. I don't want that to ruin my day because now that means I have to shell another $1,200, go back to the Verizon store, just a pain in the butt, and all this other stuff. So for patients who are looking for that peace of mind with their dental treatment, because once again, it's something they use every day. It's something that a lot of times isn't cheap, but
Mm-hmm.
also let's remember why people get iPhones to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
because they know Apple's a good company and it's a good product. So they're
Right.
willing to pay that premium for it. So with dental treatment, a lot of times it can be costly. You finally get the patient to accept the treatment. But then what if something happens? What if Brad, like my colleague, actually had gotten veneers a couple of months ago
Mm-hmm.
and went to go down to give his kid a kiss and his kid popped up, knocked out the front tooth? Well, that was 2 months in of his brand new veneers. Situations like that, Brad comes back in your office, Ashley, you instantly get a pit in your stomach. You're like, oh no, like, I love Brad. Brad makes me laugh. Brad's got good dance moves. I don't want to upset Brad. So I'll just fix it for free. Well, that's great for Brad,
Mhm.
not
Right.
great for your business.
No.
That's lost chair time, that's lost materials, everything like that. So you're the one who's taking the hit more than anything else. Or you might say, hey, Brad, like, we're still have to charge you in full because that's not our fault. That was your kid's fault. And they might be like, well, that's not fair because it was 2 months ago. Like, I don't want to pay that again.
Right.
Or they might not even come back into the practice because they don't know what that conversation is going to be. Where they're like, I can't afford to get this fixed. And so instead, they're going to be unhappy with their smile. They're not going to feel confident. And that's not something you want for your patient either. So,
You hear this? Where is my
you're being,
husband?
you're being summoned.
Coming. Brian is supposed to be taking care of them, so I'm gonna ignore. Gonna ignore him. Sorry, Vanessa. Hashtag
No,
mom
you're
life.
good. You are good.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hi. A flower. Oh, thank you. What? Okay. Okay. I have a flower. No, hold on, hold on. This is he came to give me. Thank you. Bye. Okay, bye bye. Oh, jeez. Why? I think this is what makes me sneeze, right? Like these things.
Probably, yeah. That will probably fly all over too. If you don't, if you
Yeah.
go to blow that, those are gonna be all over your house.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, so sorry. Okay,
No,
so
all good.
um yeah, so back to Brad and his messed up veneers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because Brad did have the protection plan, in a situation of that, how it works. So patient purchased the protection plan from the office. So when Brad first got those veneers, he came in, he purchased the protection plan to go along with that. So it's a 6-year protection plan. So it's good for 6 years as long as he keeps up his routine hygiene. If anything happens, his fault or not, or his kid's fault in this case, his, his fault or not, he can go back into the practice, get the retreatment that he needs done at no cost to him. But the best part about that is that then we are actually paying the practice for doing that retreatment. So where you would normally,
even if it's 2 months,
even if it's, well, if it's accidental, like, or trauma,
wow.
right away from day one, if they get that treatment and they walk out that practice, trip in the parking lot, or we actually had a patient that just got treatment done and got in a car accident on the way home. Yeah. And so that is covered. If it's failure, we don't cover the first 90 days.
Okay.
That would be on the practice, which typically in general, whether we are involved or not, that's typically how practices handle if anything
Right.
fails in the first 90 days. And then we don't cover loss.
Okay.
So we do cover appliances. But
Oh,
if they lose it, there's no proof that they're not just like hoarding them in their house. Just like how, if you lose your phone, they're not going to cover that. But if we've had people who like ran their lawnmower over their dentures by accident, or like their dog chews on their appliance, or it melts in the car.
yep.
As long as there's some remnants of it and proof of that, it covers it as well. Yeah. So it really could provide peace of mind literally for everyone, because it provides peace of mind for the patient, obviously, in those situations where life just happens, but also peace of mind for the practice, because
100%.
dealing with those situations can be stressful of how do we handle this.
Right.
And like I said, I've been in the dental space for over 12 years now, and I didn't realize until working at Dental Warranty of how much time is wasted at practices having these conversations between like the doctor, the office manager, the treatment coordinator, the billing, of like, how do we handle the
Right.
situation?
Right.
But a lot of times it comes down to how much they like the patient, sadly.
It
Well,
really,
they bring us in cookies. They
right.
keep up to date with their billing. So this is a way of creating those expectations up front for everyone. The whole team knows how to handle these. And what's also great too is that the patient says no to the protection plan. Okay. It's no big deal, because guess what? You had that conversation up front
Mm-hmm.
that if you want this, here's what happens. If you don't want it, this is what happens. And now those patients aren't expecting you to
Right.
just cover the costs, even if it was their own fault, and they chewed in that soft bread that
Mm-hmm.
they claim that they chewed
Always.
on.
That dang soft bread that appears everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, it's okay. So, I mean, my mind is blown, like, honestly, because I mean, why would you not do something like that for your patient? Like what you said, if Brad had veneers done and an accident happened 2 months in, and you're going to cover that, that's bananas. That's amazing. Okay, so the things that you said are not covered are failure within 90 days.
Yep.
Okay, failure within 90 days and loss.
And loss. And then decay in the first year.
Okay,
So if it's decay in
decay.
the first year, we do not cover that, because a lot of times that would mean basically, things weren't cleaned out as well they need to initially begin with. But after that first year, we do cover decay as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so for big group practices where quality control is, like, stuff happens, and let's say there is an open margin for one doctor, and then another doctor sees a patient at a recare, they took a bite wing, and they realize that it's open, that is something that dental warranty will cover?
Yeah, yeah. And the protection plan follows the patient wherever they go. So if you have maybe an associate that has left, maybe you sold your practice, maybe you acquired a practice that has dental warranty, it follows that patient. I know a lot of practices that maybe have a lot of military
Mhm.
patients love it, because they know that, they only might be their patients for 2 years and may move on. Or snowbirds, you have some people who spend 6 months in one place, 6 months in another. It does follow the patient. So there's a benefit for the patient that way, where a lot of practices might have their own internal protection plan, but a lot of times it's just for their own practice.
Mhm.
But sometimes they also don't enjoy as much, because if they have an associate who maybe isn't there anymore, maybe due to XYZ reasons,
Right.
but 3 years later, they're noticing they're having to do a lot of rework from that
Right.
associate. It protects the practice that way as well. I mean, obviously, with us working with practices, we always go in with the intent that everyone's doing good dentistry, and most of the time, it is. I mean, really, people are, but life happens, and there's things that are out of your control of why maybe this implant failed. It's not because you're a terrible dentist. It's because literally sometimes the body just rejects it.
Right.
Or
Right.
sometimes you accidentally trip. I mean, you can't blame people for that. And so this is a way of having that peace of mind.
Exactly. So after 90 days, if the implant fails, then it's covered.
It's covered. Yep. And
Okay.
then let's say a patient got a crown done. And let's say that crown's, $1,500, the
Mhm.
value of that crown. If the patient purchased a protection plan, which would be 10 to 15% of that $1,500. So how it works is 10% goes to dental warranty. Anything over that 10%, up to that 15%, is extra revenue for the practice straight out of the gate. So by just offering these protection plans, you're going to be able to generate some revenue, which once again, especially with the new startup practice, when you're looking for ways to generate revenue straight out of the gate, that is an option. But what's great about this too is you're adding a value add to your patients on top of it. It's something you can market and say, hey, we offer this. Um, and so let's say it's a $1,500 crown. The patient, pays $150 to protect it for the 6 years. So if anything happens to that crown in 6 years, it's $150. They purchase it. Okay, cool. But let's say 3 years later, they've been going to their routine hygiene visits. Everything's all great. Now something happens to that tooth to where maybe that tooth needs to be extracted and an implant put in.
Mhm.
Well, now what? Because the crown's no longer in the mouth. That was $1,500 that was protected. Well, what's great about the protection plan is because it's that same tooth that was protected initially, it can now be used towards next treatment. So that $1,500 credit, if you want to think of it as that, can now be used towards the extraction and the implant being put in,
That's
which is
amazing.
awesome. Oh, completely. And it encourages now patients to move forward those next steps. Because once again, they might be like,
Right.
well, I paid $1,500, even if it was like 3 years ago, let's be honest. They'll be like, I just paid $1,500.
Oh, I know.
And now you're like, hey, totally get it. But because you purchased that protection plan, now that $1,500 can go towards XYZ. So now between that and insurance, it's only going to cost you X amount. And what's great about this program in general, it's meant to make you guys look like the hero. At the end of the day, like you guys look like you are the hero, being like, oh, but don't worry, that's 1,500 because of the protection plan and blah blah blah, and we'll get you taken care of. They're like, that is fantastic. Like, thank you so much.
I mean, it just makes a whole lot of sense. Like, honestly, we're going to be covering redos anyways, so why not have that peace of mind? And what are you have you seen, like, what are the best practices that you have seen in terms of how these offices are implementing it? Are they just lumping it together in the treatment plan and including it as a line item and building it into their total fees?
Yeah, so there's different ways, each practice is a bit different on how they want to handle it, but I would say yes, including it with your fees and creating it as, an additional line item right there on the treatment and just say like, 6 year protection plan and include it on there. And a lot of times patients don't think much of it, but they
Hmm.
appreciate that's on there. Full transparency, I got LASIK eye surgery done a couple of years ago, and that came with a 10-year warranty. And I love the idea of the fact that I was paying 4 grand for my eyes. And like, oh yeah, and by the way, if anything, if your eyes change at all in the next 10 years, as long as you're going to your annual optometry appointment, which actually I had mine this morning.
Oh,
So I'm
are
still
you
going to
dilated?
my optometrist specifically because I want to keep that active. They're like, if
Oh,
your eyes change at all, we'll do free touch-ups. And for me, I'm like, yes, because I'm spending $4,000 on my eyes. And it's
yes.
not their fault. It's not my fault. But I'm gonna be pissed if my eyes change. I just am. I'm gonna be annoyed because it's a lot of money. And
Hmm.
instead, I've told people that, they had this protection plan like with my LASIK, and people were not offered that at theirs. And like, what? Mine didn't offer that. Like, that's awesome. And for all I know, as a patient, I probably paid extra for it and didn't even realize it. But as a patient, I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is awesome because yeah, it can, you never know how much money is a lot of money to patients. And you never know who really values peace of mind. So with implementing everything, we always encourage offer it to everyone. Offer it to all your patients and be consistent about it. And if they say no, okay, perfect.
Mhm.
That's fine. No big problem. Because now we know. You know what's going to happen if you don't get the protection plan. And we've actually had clients that told us that patients have said no to the protection plan.
Mhm.
Then something happens, they come
Mhm.
back in and they bought the protection plan the second time around.
That okay, so speaking of that, what is the time period where it's no longer offered for that particular tooth procedure? Does that make sense? Like, so let's say like I presented the warranty plan at like like I'm doing veneers.
Yeah.
And then the patient at the time of the financial agreement is set, they declined it. But then on prep day, they also still declined it. But on seat day, they're potentially thinking about it. Or is that too?
Yeah, so like the day of treatment would be yeah. So and then, and that kind of goes into using this as a marketing tool as well. So obviously have the conversations in the office. Have the front desk mention it, treatment coordinator, the doctor, like whatever it may be, just let people aware. But also include it on your website, include it on social media, include it all these places, your newsletter, whatever it may be of, hey, we offer a protection plan on our dental treatment. Ask us about it. If you're interested in implants, maybe you have like a page on your website, talk about how you offer implants at your practice. Be like, and by the way, all of our dental implants come with a 6-year protection plan. Because that way too, it's like patients are asking for it. Like you'd be surprised of how many of them are bringing it up to you versus the other way around. And so with that, it makes your practice stand out among other practices that aren't offering that value add, especially if you're new to the area as a startup, or maybe you're just in a very competitive area where you know patients are shopping around. And let's be honest, you don't even have to be in a competitive area. Patients are still
Right.
shopping around.
Right.
It's a differentiator and it's a way of you're adding this like extra like first class service to those patients who really do value that.
And what, okay, so for the very large or the larger treatment plan cases
Mhm.
where patients are paying monthly or like paying on a payment plan, how does that work with dental warranty? Because the patient is paying, theoretically over time, and the practice pays dental warranty always in one lump sum upfront, or are there any other? Okay.
Yeah, so that would still be one lump sum upfront. Yeah. And a lot of questions that people tend to have when it comes like the larger cases of like, do you have a max that you can protect? Because easily you can get into some cases that are,
Right.
$75,000
Right.
potentially, which is a lot of money for everyone involved.
Yes.
And so there is no limit of what we can protect. And so if it is a complex case like that,
Mm-hmm.
people do ask, well, how does that work? How do you cover
Right.
it? We cover each individual treatment that's being done with the patient. So down to every procedure, down to everything. So if you have this massive case, but let's say one little thing needs to be replaced, not a problem. That $75,000 case, you have $75,000 of credit, if you want to say, to use. And so let's say it's only, $500 to fix XYZ, we would cover that 500 for that patient. But for a lot of these larger cases, adding that protection plan is so valuable, so valuable.
I mean, it's it's a no-brainer, guys. Like it just makes sense. Even when you go on Amazon and you buy a freaking toaster oven, it asks you if you want a protection plan. Like every like this day and age, we're used to monthly payment plans, but we're also just used to warranties. There is we you're paying for peace of mind, and
And the world is chaotic right now and has been for a couple of years, but it's one of those things, once again, you use your mouth for everything
right.
and you use it all day every day. And so with that, it's sometimes we do put it on the back burner of priorities in our lives for XYZ reasons.
Yeah.
But this is something that allows patients to feel more comfortable and confident moving forward and keeping them healthy.
Yeah.
Even if they get the treatment done, they buy the protection plan and nothing bad happens, awesome. That's great. That's fantastic. That's an ideal situation. But that patient now is a loyal patient to you because they're required to come in for that routine hygiene. But then even if something does happen, you're still able to be the hero at the end of the day and not putting your own practice financially at risk because you're afraid you're going to get a bad review or you're going to make them upset and you don't want to. So you'll just take the hit and cover it. I mean, financially, just that itself helps the practice so much. But then also that little bit of extra revenue you can make with that extra percentage up front. We have many practices that use that for like team incentives, team bonuses. They'll take their team like to Mexico once a year with what they're making off of just that extra percentage. Offsetting COVID costs that they have. Like there's different ways that our clients have gotten creative of just using that little extra percentage that goes into that. And we've even had practices that just donate it to a local community. So yeah, it's such a way of, setting the expectations with the patient up front, which makes everyone's life so much easier. It's
Yeah.
creating that peace of mind for both the patient and the practice. And it's generating that healthy revenue for the office so that you can be around for many years to come and be able to help, patients in so many different ways.
I love it. And I love you and I love dental warrants. And it is, I mean, just have a call with Vanessa, guys, when you're working on your businesses, when you're working on your practice, or when you're working in patients' mouths. Like, you need peace of mind. There's so many things when you're doing a startup that you're worrying about, and let don't let this be one of them. Like, sleep soundly, not because you're worried about failures and negative reviews. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we did. If no one has any questions, I can't see any. I think my internet or my phone is not giving me. Do you see any questions on your end,
I
Vanessa?
do not. No. I see a weird ad though. It's like a political ad for some reason. Like popping. I was like, I don't know why this is popping up on here.
Um, okay, but do you have anything else that you want to add or say about dental warranty or anything else?
I'll just say one thing we didn't really cover, but people tend to have questions is what does this entail to
Yeah.
get
Oh, yeah.
started?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
Go through the details.
yeah, so it's fairly simple. So once again, patients are already asking these questions,
Mm-hmm.
to the practice. So like, okay, so if I get this done, like how long is this gonna last? How does this work? How does XYZ? So they're already having these conversations. So this is something that our team will actually train your practice on how to kind of just incorporate it into those conversations. And so it's a 45-minute onboarding call that we have with your team. So they're all aware of that. We have a portal where the practice will be able to register these protection plans. So you'll be able to keep track of who's all the patients that have the protection plans for what procedures, what dollar amount, whatever it may be. So we make it very, very easy for you. And then we're also integrated with EagleSoft, Dentrix, and Open Dental. You don't have to have those to work with us, but we do have integrations with those practice management systems as well. So once practices go through onboarding with us, I mean, literally that afternoon, they could be offering protection plans. And we have many practices do. They get off that phone call, they're all pumped, like,
Um,
let's just get to it. So it's pretty easy. And yeah, see a demo, check it out for yourself, see if it's a good fit for your practice. But I highly recommend doing it.
it is, there is no such thing as the wrong fit for the practice. Like,
Yes,
the,
agreed.
yeah, I mean, you guys are amazing, and it really does make us look good. Like, we
It
stand
does.
by
It's
our
meant
word.
to make you look like the hero at the end of the day. Like this is meant for you guys to keep those patients loyal, so you keep them happy, but also keeping you
Yeah,
guys happy too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, how awesome does it sound to have a no questions asked policy on your work? like we stand by the quality of what we provide. If for any reason in like for 6 years, we will cover it. And it's a no questions asked, like it's a no brainer. So how are people signing up for the demo? Is there like a special code or link that you're going to provide for us, Vanessa?
Yes. So you can call us, and that will be, make sure I'm giving you the right number here. It is 855-559-1511. And then you can also go to go, that's go, dentalwarranty.com/the making of. You can schedule a demo there as well too. So there'll be actually a calendar that you can coordinate with a time that works well for you. And yeah, you'll be able to schedule a time with Brad. So if you do talk to Brad, ask him about his dance moves. I'm sure he's going to be thrilled with that. But for mine and Ashley's own entertainment, we would probably think it's hilarious if he just starts getting people asking about his dance moves.
Okay, no, but really, guys, I feel like if we have an X amount that you guys are using the link, I feel like Brad should be required to do something at the upcoming retreat. Like I
Yes.
really do.
Yes. Oh, we definitely should. So
Yeah.
people schedule demos so we can get
Yeah.
the numbers up, and we will make Brad do something at next year's retreat. He doesn't know it yet, but Ashley and I will make it happen.
We have now pimped you out, Brad, and you're not apologetic about it. So there are no kickbacks on this link at all, except for Brad. That is the only form of payment, guys, that I will receive. And if you attended Napa, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I should probably mention too. So the startup costs, let me include that in there too. So understands that as well too. Is how does this work? So the patient is paying for the protection plan. Like I said, it could be either between 10 and 15% of the treatment costs. 10% goes to dental warranty. Anything over that is extra revenue for the practice. But then there's only a one-time startup cost for practice to get signed up. So there's no monthly, no annual fees. It's a $750 startup. And what we're doing for anyone who's a member of the Making of a Dental Startup, $500 off. So it only costs you $250. Like that is it. And you can only literally make money and go up and offer peace of mind and extra value to your patients. So definitely check it out.
Thank you for offering that to our group. I know we love a good discount and we love a good product service. So we appreciate that, and we love some good dance moves from Brad. So I want Brad to see this.
I might be getting a lot of new friend requests soon.
And if you guys have any other questions, make sure to reach out to Vanessa and Brad. I'll tag them on this live. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you, Vanessa, for being a part of NABA, for being a part of this community. Thank you, Dental Warranty. Thank you to Brad for being a good sport, even though he had zero idea that
no idea.
Yeah, so yeah, we love dental warranty. It's a no-brainer. Start implementing it in your practices, and let's get Brad to dance.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for having me, Ashley. It's always a pleasure catching up on everything.
Oh my gosh,
we always have too much fun. So
we always have too. Well, I want to say we have so much fun, Vanessa, that like we were supposed to record a podcast and in Vegas at the business immersion summit with Dental Whale.
Mm-hmm.
It was too fun. Like you had a suite, and we had John Stamper DJing.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, you guys, they are fun. like all caps fun. And
yeah, so, it was a good time.
It was indeed, and I can't wait to see you again in person.
I know. It's I feel spoiled because I've seen you twice now in the last like 4 months.
I know.
It was because COVID. That was too long where I didn't see you. So
way too long. Way too long. Well,
I might have to make a trip out there when you open up the second office. So you're gonna have to let me know.
Girl,
when that's
don't
happening.
tease me like that.
And we'll create some fun TikToks. We'll do
Okay.
some Facebook Lives for
Let's
fun. Like,
I am all for it. And I'm gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you to that. You know that, right?
oh, I know. You just gotta tell me the dates. Tell me the
And then we'll
dates.
go back to Napa.
Yes. Oh, well, you don't have to convince me of that.
Okay. All right. Well, happy holidays.
Thanks, you
I'll see you
too.
next year.
Yes.
All right. Bye guys. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon.
Bye.